In this video, we solve two-step equations using graspable math. If you haven't seen the video on solving one-step equations, you might want to go back and look at that one first. But today we're going to solve two-step equations. To solve 5x plus 6 equals 51, we first have to, in order to isolate for x, we need to first isolate for the term that has x. So we have to deal with this plus 6. Of course, our operation then is to subtract 6 from both sides. Remember, to do this, we click on the equal sign. Up pops the E for equation, and we tell graspable math what operation we want to do to both sides. So in this case, we want to subtract 6. Now you can either touch it using the keyboard here, or you can use the keys on your keyboard. Either way, when you push done, it will subtract 6 from both sides. And although it's not like how we have it in class where we have the minus 6 underneath, it still does the same thing. Remember, now we're going to do the subtraction. To perform subtraction in graspable math, we actually click on the subtract sign and it will subtract. Similarly over here, we subtract, and now we have a one-step equation where it's 5x equals 45. And to isolate for x, we have to do the inverse operation of divide both sides by 5. So again, remember, we click on the equal sign, and we can go divide by 5, and it should divide both sides by 5. To divide, remember, you can either click on the division symbol or click on the number underneath and it will divide. And we correctly have answered our answer, x equals 9. Let's see that again. In this case, we have to isolate for x. So first we have to deal with a minus 1. That means we have to do the inverse operation and add 1 to both sides. Push done. Click on the plus to actually add, and that eliminates that number so that we just have negative 3x equals 12. We have to divide both sides by negative 3 this time, so I push divide. This time I'm going to use my keyboard and push slash negative 3. Oops. Or, of course, I can push divide. Remember, I have to divide both sides by negative 3, not just 3. Click done, and I'll click on the bottom to actually do the division to cancel the x equals negative 4. Sometimes the x will be on the other side, which means I want to isolate for this 2x on the right side of the equal sign. So instead of dealing with the 18, I have to deal with this minus 9. I'll perform the opposite operation by adding 8, or not 9, excuse me, 8. So I'm going to perform the operation by adding 8 to both sides. Click on the plus to add, and I'll get negative 10. Divide both sides by 2. Done. And I should get x equals negative 5 as the correct answer. In this one, we have an x over 2. Again, we still need to isolate for the term that has x in it first, then deal with the x over 2. So if I see minus 5, I'm going to have to do the inverse operation of plus 5 to both sides. Adding here gets me 6. Adding here cancels it. And now I have a one step of x divided by 2 equals 6. What number divides by 2 to get 6? Well, that must mean that I have to do the inverse of divide, which is to multiply. So I'll push equals, and remember to multiply, we're going to use the star. Also, be careful here. When I go 6.2, that means 6 times 2, so I can click on that and multiply. But here, if I click on the multiply, times 2 will put it on the top, which seems awkward. But you can always just divide afterwards by dragging it and dividing that way. Or you could do this in one step. Times 2 divided by 2 are opposite operations, so they should cancel. So if I drag them together, it will cancel that way as well. And I get the correct answer of x equals 12. Let's try one final one. I want to isolate for x over 5. So I have this minus 8. The inverse operation for that is to plus 8 to both sides. Over here, it's no problem to plus. But remember, when I plus here, it's not going to allow me because this is an unlike term. I need this plus 8 to be next to the minus 8 so that it will cancel. You can do that by grabbing the 8 and the plus should come with it. Or you can grab the plus and the 8 will come with it. Regardless, we drag it next to each other. So we have minus 8 plus 8. Now when I add, it will cancel. X divided by 5, the inverse operation is to multiply by 5, both sides by 5. And I can perform the multiplication like this and cancels, and to get x equals 90 as the correct answer. So hopefully that helps you solve two-step equations using graspable math.